everybody, it's Jessica and this is VEDA Day 24. Today I want to talk about why I choose to participate in things like Vlog Every Day in April, or just in general why I choose to capture and share publicly so much of my own personal and professional life. One of the reasons that I really like to do things like vlogs is just because it helps me to process. I also think blogging is a really beneficial activity, and it's something that is really good for me when I'm trying to reflect on something or work through an idea. But I find that vlogging is a little bit more easy for me to keep up on because it's easier to hit record and just sort of verbally process what I'm thinking. I tend to, as a perfectionist, get very caught up in my writing, and so it's easy for me to go back and read something over and over and over again and edit and revise and continue to wordsmith something, and so it can be a little bit prohibitive to getting my thinking out there. The process of writing it the first time is usually really great, but I find that I tend to post much less frequently when I'm blogging. I don't even know how many draft blogs that I've never seen the light of day, and I think that a lot of that has to do with just the expectations that I place on myself for something that is written versus the expectations and process that I use for vlogging. So I find that it's really, both of them are beneficial, but vlogging is just a little bit easier for me, and I'm able to do it more frequently. The other thing is that, for every blog or vlog or tweet or Instagram picture that I have seen that I have found beneficial and that has been comforting or helpful or, helps me to think about something in a different way, every single time I see something like that, I feel really thankful that that person shared it. And something that I like to do is make sure that I'm sort of paying it forward. And I almost feel an obligation that, if I'm gaining so much from other people being in a lot of ways very vulnerable and sharing so openly the things that they're thinking about or feeling, it to me feels like it's an important thing to do that for myself and to model that as well. Something that I've been working on a lot lately is being honest about my whole self, not just sharing parts of who I am, but really trying to paint a full picture of who I am. And, all of us are very complex, and we all have a lot of different aspects of our lives, and we all have things that we tend to share more openly than other things. And so I really am trying to share all of who I am, and, not necessarily even just for others, but even just for myself, to always make sure that I'm painting a picture of my whole self, not just parts of myself. And, that for me lately has meant being more open about the struggles that I have with mental illness and with anxiety and depression. And it means being more open about things that might be, not completely positive, or just my struggles and my challenges and the things that I think about that, might be a little bit harder for me to share. And, again, I want things like the stigma around mental illness to change. I want someday for our world to be a place where people don't have to worry about not only dealing with mental illness, but that they don't have to feel like they have to hide that. I don't want people to feel like they can't be who they are or be their complete selves when they're in front of certain people, or talking about things with certain audiences. And so for me, I feel like it's really important to model that. If I want to impact change, one of the best ways that I can do that is I can be that change, and I can model that change, and I can be hopefully brave enough to step forward and say, what, if this is the world that I want, I need to model what that world looks like. And, maybe I'm the only person who knows that it's out there, and maybe only 3 people see it, and that's okay, because I know that I am taking that step, trying to contribute to impacting that positive change. So that's another reason that I really feel very strongly about putting my thoughts and feelings out there. I struggle with that sometimes because one thing that I don't want people to think is that I'm posting things for gratuitous reasons, or, that I'm sort of seeking any kind of attention for things. We could dig into all of the reasons why I don't like attention in that way, and, really have a hard time when I receive certain kinds of attention. But I think that it's hard for me when I think about how other people might perceive me. That's when it's the hardest for me to post something online and to put it out there. An example that I can give, and really one of the reasons why I kind of started thinking about this vlog idea today, is that on Friday I posted an Instagram picture of my sneakers, and I said something to the effect of, sometimes you have to sit on the floor and sob and like cry ugly tears, and then you get up and you put your running shoes on and you get on the treadmill for 3 miles. And I posted that on my Instagram, but I also posted it on Facebook and on Twitter, and it's actually gotten a lot of attention, I guess you could say, a lot of visibility. I don't want to say attention. It's gotten a lot of visibility by, friends and family members, and people have taken the time to not just, hit like on it, but to comment on it and to say, I'm thinking about you, I hope everything's okay, or thank you so much for posting this. I've been there. Lots of people saying, I've been there. I know what that's like. Thank you for posting this. And for me, that is actually when it's the hardest. Like I like hitting post and then letting it just like go away and not thinking about it again. That's probably one of the many reasons I will never be making money off of this channel or, become a famous YouTuber like the many YouTubers who I look up to, because I don't really care about that stuff. I don't care about views or clicks or I find the data of the analytics on my channel and on my blog and things very fascinating, but only in sort of like the geeky, it's so cool that we can see this data kind of thing. I don't ever check and go, oh my gosh, this blog is getting more attention than this one, or this vlog has the most viewers. Like I honestly don't really care about that stuff. And one of the things that I tell people a lot that I wish I could remember who told me this, because I tell it to people all the time, but I remember a couple years ago someone making a comment, someone from my PLN saying, I blog for myself, I share it for others. And that really resonated for me. And that's kind of my something that I've taken on as my own kind of guiding light, is that, I record these vlogs for myself. I'm processing my own thinking. I really don't mind if absolutely nobody sees this, but I also don't mind if somebody does see it. And that's the scariest part, is, to know that things that you're putting out there online can be seen by anybody. And so, I also keep that in mind. Like, yep, I'm putting it out there in the world and anyone could go and see this if they wanted to. Anyone can come across this. But, when I write a blog post or I create a video or I write a tweet, yeah, I think about, is this the persona that I want out there? Is this the me? If this is the first tweet or video or blog post that someone reads from me or sees from me and they don't know anything about me, is this who I want them to think that I am? And, I do consider that, but I also try not to let it stop me from just being authentic and putting things out there. So, that's just something that I have been thinking about a lot since putting that post up there, because it's hard. I don't want people to think that I was posting that picture and that comment for attention. Like, it makes me feel very loved, and I feel so grateful to have so many amazing people in my life who take the time to say, hey, I'm sorry that you're feeling that way and I'm thinking about you. But I almost didn't even think about it until all the comments started coming in, because when I put it there, I really and truly put that there because I wanted to capture that moment for myself. I felt really proud of myself that I was able to take a morning that had started off with me, and it wasn't bad crying. It was just, I needed to cry. There's a lot of change happening in my world, and I have been trying to process it, and I just needed to sit with that for a little bit. And it was one of those moments that I was proud of myself because I didn't feel bad about my emotions. A lot of times if I'm crying, I'll be like, oh, stop crying, like pull yourself together. And I just let myself cry. And I was really proud of myself for just saying, like, this is how you feel and it's okay to feel this way. Feel whatever you feel. But then I was proud of myself that I felt what I felt, and then I put on my shoes and I went for a run. I think that it helps me to reflect on my life. I love to be able to kind of capture who I am at certain points in time. I'm never the same person the next day that I was yesterday. And I really love that about myself. I am a constant learner. I'm always trying to grow and be a really good human and, be someone who's constantly striving to be better and knows that there is no such thing as perfection, and to embrace a growth mindset and be able to really not just talk about a growth mindset or model it in certain areas of my life, but to really embrace that. And it's these are all things I'm still working on. I'm growing, I'm learning. I'm not perfect at any of those things, but I like that. I love being able to go back at certain times of year and look at my Twitter archive and look at my vlogs and look at the topics that I wrote about on my blog. And a lot of times when I'm facing things that are difficult for me, I actually find that really helpful because it grounds me. Someone asked a question of me a couple weeks ago of like, what is your dream job? What is the legacy that you want to leave? Like, what do you see for your future? And I've been really struggling with that question for myself for several months now. And when faced with the pressure of like coming up with a response, I went to my blog and I went back to my years in the classroom and when I first left the classroom and the things that I've done along the way in the past few years. And that really helped ground me and remind me who I want to be, who I am, the things that are important to me. And so I just find that being able to capture that and reflect on that is really beneficial. And in terms of VEDA, the reason that I participate is because I like being a creator and I like challenging my creativity. It's really nice that I'm able to see my world in a slightly different way when I'm participating in things like VEDA, because every day the experiences that I have, the thoughts that I have, the way that I just am sort of, going around in the world, I'm looking for topics. I'm looking for things that are, for me, that are worth sharing and worth reflecting on and worth processing. And it's just fun to be able to have that creative mindset and be in a position to be looking around and saying, what do I want to talk about today? What in my day is worth sharing with others? What in my day is worth me taking the time to really, invest in it? We go through our day and our week and our month and our lives very quickly. And I think there are so many things that just sort of come and go, and we don't maybe give them the time that they deserve to just sit with them and to just be with them. We're always going to the next thing, and not only do I like reflecting and looking back, but it helps me to sort of sit in the moment when I'm feeling really excited about something. Being able to share that and capture that on video is really important for me. Or when I'm feeling really frustrated by something or really sad by something, I like being able to capture that because it's what I'm feeling right now, and I could very easily just sort of set it aside and keep on moving. It's nice to just grab onto it and put it there and say, this was worth remembering, and I'm going to look back on this later. And I most of the time when I'm sharing stuff, I don't know what lessons it's going to teach me, but I know that at some point I'll look back on some of these things, and that whatever I'm saying right now or whatever I've shared, that it will teach me something. So that's why I share. That's why I put things out there. I've been doing a lot of watching of vlogs this weekend. It's one of my favorite pastimes, and I really enjoy also just learning from those people as creators. And when you're vlogging or you're participating in something like VEDA, even just the learning opportunities that are there. When I'm doing a vlog, I'm thinking about, now I'm learning about lighting and sound and the best ways to record and share and upload, and it helps me learn. I'm so much better at video editing than I was, and I still have a really long way to go to where I would like to get to at some point, but it's fun to not only get a chance to practice those things and hone my skills in that area, but to be watching other people's vlogs. I really look up to people who have created something amazing on their channels, and I like looking and kind of dissecting where did they choose to record and what lighting and sort of the behind the scenes stuff. But I also just really enjoy being a part of their lives and learning from the lessons that they share, because it helps me to think a lot and process and just always gain new knowledge and new perspective. So that's some of my random thoughts for a Sunday about vlogging and blogging and reflecting and sharing. I hope that all of you are doing well and that you've had a great weekend, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.